Welcome back to the channel, guys. It's Bars and Barbells. I'm Phil with my lovely co-host Samantha.
Hello, guys. Welcome back.
She looks very beautiful today, doesn't she?
Thanks.
And we've got Slayer for the first time on the channel. We've got not a lot. We've been introduced to a fair amount of heavy metal at this point.
Yeah.
But we haven't got to Slayer yet, which has been deemed a part of the Big Four, although some of you may have made mention that the Big Four is ridiculous because there's more than the Big Four, and maybe there's certain groups that shouldn't be included in the Big Four, and there's other ones that should, and all that. So anyways, as part of, I think Anthrax, Slayer, Metallica, and Megadeth are the Big Four as far as we know. But we were completely noobs in heavy metal before we got into this, so
Yeah, had no clue.
so we're interested to check out what Slayer's going to sound like. Really don't know much about them, so maybe you guys can leave some comments and let us know about what Slayer is or what they represent or what their career looked like. That's how we learn, is from those comments. So if this is your first time on the channel, welcome. Glad to have you here with us. We're here to learn. We're here to expand our experiences with music, but not just music. We do comedy and sports as well. So if you enjoy any kind of reaction videos, we probably got something for you. And you ready to check out some Slayer?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, let's go. All right, so this one's an interesting one because I like the beginning when we got into it with
The
like the
intro.
guitar riff and obviously the intro as well, like the build up to it and kind of giving this like eerie vibe of
Yeah.
the raining blood that you could hear, and
Yeah.
obviously it's like more of a it's supposed to be a I don't want to say a scary song because that sounds lame, but I feel like it's supposed to be like a horror movie in terms of music, basically,
Well,
right?
what I was gonna say is that not the intro, but once they introduced the electric guitar and
Yeah.
then built on that a little bit, it almost reminded me of like when you're playing a video game and you're trying to like run away from the bad guy. Like that's what
Right.
it reminded me of.
Yeah. So it's interesting from that perspective. I don't know if musically I really love it that much. I mean, we've enjoyed most of the stuff on the channel, and we've enjoyed a lot of the introduction to the heavy metal stuff that we've done. But I think a lot of the stuff that we have done, I feel like there's still a lot of melody and rhythm to it, and we've said previously that some of them, almost feel like a classical music composition, right? In that the intricacies that they put together when they make the songs, everything, it's put together in a real, like I said, intricate way to formulate a song, but it still maintains a lot of the rhythm throughout, and these builds and these peaks and valleys seem to fit in really well. With this one, I'm just not feeling that as much in terms of the rhythm that I'm getting. I just
feel like it's a little hard to follow. Like,
yeah, I
to
just
anticipate, like, to get into a groove.
Well, it's just for me, I feel like it's kind of like if we were talking about a painting, like it's a whole bunch of paint just thrown onto the wall. Like it's like, like you said, I don't really know where we're headed with it, and it's got a lot of energy. It's the guitar aspect is very vibrant. It's got a lot of speed to it, but I think almost for me that speed is too much that I just can't even get into the flow of it.
Can't keep up.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like I said, I like to have rhythm and melody in music, and that's what I prefer. And so I understand that people may really, really like this from the energy component and from this, like I said, the horror aspect, and it's cool, and it's probably something that at the time was very new. But for me, I just don't think this is something I'd put up there that I'd listen to regularly, and I think it's probably I'd prefer to listen to something like Megadeth if I was going to choose between Slayer and Megadeth. I'd definitely pick like the Megadeth aspect because I just like the way they compose things. But I can understand, like I said, why people would like this. It's not saying it's bad, it's just not for me.
Like, not your usual go-to.
Yeah, and I mean, like, I think for me, I liked when, like, the intro, I liked that how they brought in the electric guitar, like, in that beginning, and, like, that build-up, I thought that was really cool. And even, like, the guitar riff, I think it's just everything that's layered on top of that makes it a little bit, like you said, a little bit chaotic in terms of being able to follow it. And I'm similar to you where, like, I like to kind of be able to anticipate to, like, get into a groove. And I feel like I'm kind of just like, oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm messing up the groove. And also, it's not even necessarily, like, the speed of it or anything. I don't really love his vocal, personally. It's not that he's screaming, but it's just, like, his vocal doesn't really, like, resonate with me as much as maybe some of the other artists or groups that we've listened to. And then also I found that a lot of the other heavy metal groups that we did, not that we've gotten through the whole song yet, but they had more of like an underlying message or a meaning to the song, or they were based off something, whereas this seems just more, like you said, like a little bit like scary, like raining blood, like I don't really feel
there
like
to freak you out.
Yeah, I don't really get that same like message behind the madness kind of thing. So I don't know, like you said, like I don't necessarily think it's bad, and like I think it's creative and I think it's like interesting, but it's not really my cup of tea either.
Not your cup of tea.
That's my cup
Raining
of tea.
blood is not your cup of tea.
It is not.
That's a big surprise. No, I agree. I mean, his vocal, that was one thing I didn't mention, that I think, again, alongside that melody and the rhythm and stuff, the ear pleasingness of, like something like, I wouldn't say Dave Mustaine's the most incredible vocalist, but I feel like his vocal sits in with some of the music a bit better than what I've experienced thus far. Anyways, I know you guys are probably not going to like this because you're going to be like, you're coming in and you're not enjoying Slayer, but we give honest reactions on this on this channel. We're not going to sugarcoat it. I just, for me, like I said, this is not my vibe, but I can understand why you guys, if you do enjoy it, it's probably like it gets you amped up as hell and ready to, if you were working out like we do frequently, it probably gets you real amped up for that. So
yeah, I feel like if this was the genre of music that you had been listening to forever and you really loved, you might be able to appreciate something.
Let's keep it going. It's all, we've only done 2 minutes of reaction, so we'll finish this up. Won't stop it again. definitely a little bit of chaos. And we got some blood raining down to finish it.
Raining blood.
Yeah, that, you know, again, we got into that like riff, that headbanging riff for a second, and then it just like, that's when it dropped off for me again, was like when I couldn't just follow along. And it, towards that back end, almost like I was saying, I don't know if you heard me, I was saying it was like chaos, right?
Yeah.
That's what the sound was like. It was almost like they were trying to make the sound of like demons in the background, like with the usage of the instruments, but I don't know if that's the case or not. Anyways, I've said my bit. I don't think I'd change anything in the back half. It was basically the same thing as what I heard in the first half, and yeah.
Yeah, like I said, the one thing I did enjoy that I thought was cool that I liked was the rhythm guitar in it, like that, like do 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 do. Like I really like that, and I feel like if they had stuck more into that, and all of the stuff on top, I would have probably liked it a little bit more. But yeah. Yeah,
like I said, we can't like everything. But we tried it out, and that's what I said in the beginning. We like to try out new stuff, and that's what we're here to do. So if you got other recommendations from Slayer that you think we might like, that might be more in tune with what we just said.
Yeah.
You know, because we did Judas Priest, Painkiller, and I wasn't a huge fan of the vocal on that one because it was just like really
too much for you.
Yeah, and but I loved the music in that. That was like crazy track overall. It's just the vocal I wasn't totally enthralled with. And then you guys came back with A Victim of Changes, and that song, you just came in and destroyed that one, and that was great. So let us know in those comments if maybe this is not, this is just something that is over the top from Slayer, and because we've had, basically the same thing with Painkiller, was like you guys said, you're jumping in and you don't know how to swim. So
you're literally eyeballs deep right from the beginning.
Yeah. So let us know. But nonetheless, if you disagree with us, don't be too harsh in those comments. Try to keep it mature. We try to make sure everybody's got a lot of love on this channel. So let's try to keep that in perspective. It's okay to disagree. Just don't want to get crazy with it. So that's it from us today, guys. We'll be back soon with another one.
See you in the next one.